Hello, writers. In this session, the Write Anyway Summit presents author and platform coach Joey Garcia. Joey is here to encourage writers to embrace their unique stories and seize opportunities without succumbing to limited beliefs about age.
Joey Garcia, I'm so delighted to speak with you again. Welcome to the Write Anyway Summit.
Thank you so much. I love the name of this event. It's encouraging and it's the advice we writers need.
Yes, I completely agree. And thankfully, another writer just handed me this name. I had sent out a poll originally and said, hey, here are the names I came up with for the summit. Which one do you like? And can you think of anything better? And someone just handed me this. So if that was you, please email me because I owe you like a free year in the club. So when we were talking back and forth about bringing you back to the summit and what did we want to talk about that would really help writers, you proposed talking about answering the question, am I too old to write? And I was like, yes, that is the perfect topic. We haven't covered it before. And I wanted to kick it off with a little story before I pass it over to you for your input on this topic. I was doing a webinar and it was the Q&A section. So I was coaching people. And within the span of like 10 to 15 minutes, I had one writer say, hey, I'm too old to be writing. You know, like, how do I even, why does it even matter? No one's going to listen to me. No one listens to people who are older. And the next person was, I'm too young to write. No one's going to take me seriously. Right. And the coach in me was just cracking up inside because it was this perfect example of something that is actually totally irrelevant that we're putting between us and the thing we want and our ability to just sit down and do our creative work.
Yes.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's something I hear a lot when I speak as well, or when I'm coaching someone, do you think I'm too old to succeed as an author? And, I thought, could we just turn that around? And could it be instead, can I make my age an asset in publishing?
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, we can get stuck on one side of an equation and there might be some treasure or juice or joy on the other side. And I've been thinking about this a lot because I have a client and she is a lovely woman in her early 70s and she's gorgeous, right? But after a session, she said, can I just talk to you for a few more minutes? And I said, sure, of course. She said, I have a serious question. Okay. She says, do you think I should get a facelift? Okay. No. And the reason she landed on that question was because she'd been submitting essays and they weren't having any success getting, accepted by the top tier publications that she was interested in getting published in. And I said, well, could it be something else? She didn't want to think about any other reason that she was struggling. Well, I had been leaving her notes and they were really the same notes that the editors who did respond gave her. And, it's a funny thing because a lot of times we don't hear back when we submit. That's kind of normal these days. But she did hear back from a couple of people, and it was that, they wanted to go deeper. And that's the information I had given her. It's that the essays today that are getting published in those top tier publications are expansive and, revelatory and transformative. That's not how she writes. She was very reserved. So I said, well, did Dr. Ruth need one? Do you remember Dr. Ruth Westheimer?
Yeah.
Right. So she was wrinkled and she was a tiny little person, author of 35 books, including New York Times bestsellers. And she was honored for being like open and non-judgmental and good humored. And nobody ever said, gosh, she's got too many wrinkles to be on television or to be writing books. And she built her platform before that first book. So, and she became a household name in her 50s, going on late night television, talking about, giving anatomically correct terms for the body, for the reproductive organs. So what I wanted to say is really what we're talking about is ageism, that discrimination against older adults because of negative or inaccurate stereotypes. And I think the biggest problem is we are ageist against ourselves. I think that's the issue, right? And when it comes to a dream, like something many of us have carried since childhood, I want to be a writer, I want to be an author. Well, if it doesn't happen right away or in the way we expect, then we want to create a story around why it's not happening. And that's okay. But we might want to look at other perspectives because we blame our age, maybe because that's what we've taught ourselves to do.
Yes, 100%. And I feel like there's a mentality among some of the, especially women who I work with, who put other things first, right? For much of their lives. And then at a certain point, they're like, either now I have the time or, oh, I can't keep prioritizing the way I've been prioritizing if I actually want to get my writing out into the world. And then their inner saboteur comes in, because we all have an inner saboteur who doesn't want you to be vulnerable, who doesn't want you to put yourself out there. And that inner saboteur will find the easiest, most convenient, or the reason that makes the most sense to you, given your particular life experience, as to why you should not do that. Right. So you'll self-select out of, oh, it's too late. I blew it. I should have done this years ago. It's too late.
Yes. And I think, we get feedback sometimes that just allows us to believe, okay, that is the right reason to land on. An actress will say she didn't get the role because of her age, or she's being, shut out because of her age. That might be true. Hollywood is ageist, okay? But it could be so many other things, and we're not open to that. Maybe she's difficult on set and they don't want to hire her anymore, maybe her salary that she demands is not equal to the box office she brings in. There's so many reasons. And as somebody who has been in media for a long time, as you know, a TV producer, radio talk show host, et cetera, often people say, well, then it's the media. And, I was in the media as a professional. The media follows the public. What you're interested in, the media will show you. So if we're interested in the success of people of all ages, then that's what we get from the media. So I think that we perpetuate those stereotypes and ageism when we say, oh, that agent wasn't interested in me because of my age, or that publisher isn't interested in me because of my age. We're being ageist because did the agent say that? No, the publisher didn't tell us, oh, you're too old. I don't want your book. No, they don't say that. So it's an easy excuse, something we can't control, aging. And blaming our age then keeps us from discovering and dealing with the real problem. Like with my client who didn't want to, she wrote very reserved in a style that she liked, but wasn't getting accepted places. It's fine to keep doing what we want to do and find the audience for that. But if it doesn't land the way we expect, maybe we shouldn't blame other people.
Yes. And I want to go back to something that you said that I think is really important, which is, okay, how do we make your age an asset?
Yes.
So instead of thinking that the one thing that's preventing you, right? What if you turned it into the one thing that set you apart? Like Dr. Ruth, right? It was like she was absolutely unapologetic about who she was. She embraced her accent. She embraced her shortness. She embraced her age, all of those things, right? She was absolutely owning it out there.
She was fully herself. And that's what I want to invite us all into. The more we are ourselves, the more, real we are, authentic is the term these days, right? Then the more other people can connect with us. So, I think as we get older, that's one of the gifts we can give to the world, to ourselves, is to shake off the old belief systems and instead be fully ourselves. And we have stories, not that younger people don't have stories. We have stories. And a lot of times the template of our story, right? The experience, maybe getting pregnant before getting married or whatever, is an eternal story. And we can tell it in a particular way that resonates with today and with the past. It doesn't have to be either or.
Yeah, I love the idea of what are the stories that I have that someone younger may not have? What is the work ethic I have as someone younger may not yet have developed, right? Create a list of assets, right, of what your age brings. What else do you recommend to people who get hung up on too old? I missed my chance.
Well, I think one of the things about aging is sometimes we do get a little more tired and we need to take care of ourselves. And I think self-care is essential as we're aging. And we tend to believe we should just shake it off, or, gosh, I don't platform building because it makes me tired. Well, Yes, you're learning something new and you're doing something new and you're putting yourself out there. Yes, you might tire more easily if you're learning new things or if you have to break past, I'm an introvert. I get it, that introversion tendency. I think those are some of the things, staying in balance and to me being in balance. And we have that at the summit here. You're not just focused on craft, mindset, building community. All of it is important and it's a balance, right? So I think those are really key. But another one is, again, back to don't discriminate. So have friends of all ages, because
Yeah.
when you open yourself to actual friendship, mutuality, equality in your friendship, you're not just trying to teach someone younger things or instruct them or correct them, but rather engage with them. Then that is a very powerful experience in your life and will give you new energy.
I love that so much. I actually had a friend on Facebook who's in consulting, and she's in her mid 50s, and she was saying, if you don't have a mentor in their late 20s or who's like significantly younger than you, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, she wanted to reverse the relationship. Like, you need to be mentored by someone young. And I was floored by it. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant once I thought about it. But yes, of course, we know we can mentor those who are younger than us, but it can absolutely work the other way as well.
I 100% am there. And I have always believed in having friends who have such diverse experiences that they can give me a richer perspective on life. So, that's really important. I think also on the other side of things, I want people who are concerned about their age to think about how they might be coming across because of that concern. So it's normal to feel more vulnerable as we age. I think that's true. And sometimes left out of things because maybe we don't understand technology that well. I know that I struggle with technology and I'm always trying to learn. So that's one of the things I would really urge people to consider. You may not, I'm not saying you have to learn to code, very clear on that. But it's important that you come into this experience willing to learn and gain expertise or hire someone who can help you. It's so important. I work for agents as well, and so many times one of the struggles for them, they might love an older writer's manuscript, but the older writer begins signaling unconsciously an expectation and neediness that the agent or publisher will take care of them. One agent actually told me a story that they wanted to sign this older writer, and the older writer said, "Oh, I don't like email. I hardly ever look at my email. Can we just do everything by phone?" So think about this, that they want to sign you and you're saying, yes, I want to enter this business relationship with you, this business partnership, but I'm going to bring 20th century skills and I want you to come into the 20th century with me instead of us working together in the 21st century. It's a red flag and it's a big one for agents. They don't have time to hold our hands, right?
I think I resonate with that so much. And the other thing that I will see is, and this makes sense, when we get older, when we're adults, we're grown ass adults who've been adulting for a while, we were probably professional or still are professional. We feel very competent in our areas of competence.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that some of us get really anxious and frustrated when all of a sudden we don't feel competent. Right. And like, when you're trying to take on that new skill set, when you're trying to learn the ropes of publishing, when you're trying to figure out like all the technology behind self-publishing, whatever it is, sometimes grown-ups don't have enough frustration tolerance to acquire a new skill set. So are you willing to feel a little stupid sometimes? Sometimes we got to feel a little bit like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I can figure it out. I can find the help or I can learn the thing, and I get to choose which one of those that is. But I think that it creates a lot of unnecessary like frustration and frankly suffering when you're unwilling to just be out of your element and out of your depth a little bit and just take that on.
Yeah, that's so key and so important that, again, coming back to this place of openness and a willingness to understand that I don't know or understand everything. So let me come to this with an awareness that you might have something to teach me. I always tell people that they'll say, I don't have money to hire a tech person. I'm like, don't you have grandchildren? Don't you have neighbors? Ask somebody and offer them some, I don't know, Starbucks gift card, something like offer them something in exchange or hire them to teach you. or take classes, but it's possible. I think it's important to hire a book coach, an editor, and maybe a personal assistant. If you're in that place, you're struggling and you don't know what to do. That's what I'm saying. And you can find the money if you want this career.
And virtual assistants are often cheaper than you think and absolutely worth their weight in gold if they can help get you over that hurdle. Or even if you can't afford one long-term, hire a virtual assistant to teach you how to do the thing, to make you a video that you can follow along to do the steps. I'm also constantly pointing people to YouTube. I'm like, dear God, whatever it is you're trying to do, some beautiful human has made a step-by-step video on YouTube for you. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And yes, once again, you will get tired. Your brain is learning new things. Let yourself take naps, let yourself rest, go to bed early, eat well, do all the things that you would do if you were in any other situation learning new things, right? If you're working out, you're going to be doing those same sorts of things because you'll be tired from the workout. So just allow yourself to enter this with the awareness you're entering a new career. A lot of times when I bring up the work behind platform building when I'm coaching someone, and they'll say, I don't want to do that. I'd rather play with the grandkids. Well, it's not either or, it's and.
Right.
To play with the grandkids right? And build my platform. Or they'll say, I already had a career. I don't need to do all that. Okay, same thing, right? So to just be open to being a lifelong learner and learn the business that you're in, write the story you want to write, but in a style that serves the market if you want to go to traditional publishing. And even if you're going to self-publish, you need to curate an audience for that book, right? That's what you're going to learn through the summit, but all the other stuff that is available through the programs that Sue offers. And I think it really is so important for older writers to build a network of author friends who are better and more accomplished than they are.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Put yourself in the room.
Yes, in a circle of people who are, this is great because they want you to say it's great and say their work is great. But really think about the value of feedback or criticism or critique, however you want to think about that word. You can grow so much if, I know it hurts at first, right? This is our dream, our baby, right? This project we're working on, but it may hurt, but just take a moment with it. Take a moment. Don't react. Just go away and then come back and speak to the person who offered it or send an email and consider whether their perspective is right.
Yes. Taking feedback is such a huge part of being a writer and knowing what kind of feedback do you want? So when you put something out there, tell the person what kind of feedback you're asking for and be open and know how to filter that feedback. I see a lot of writers like, I'm so new, I don't know who to ask. I'll ask anybody. And then they pick a critique partner who's totally inappropriate, who's not even close to their ideal reader, who just wants them to write in the style and the genre that they write in, right? You've got to educate yourself also and contextualize for yourself. Who do I need feedback from? What kind of feedback do I need? Which is why I will always say, if you have the funds, please hire a professional to help give you that feedback, because otherwise you can spend years spinning your wheels or getting completely demoralized from unskilled feedback.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And I actually like to tell my clients, hire more than one editor. So you get different perspectives. And I think it's very helpful. But I think one of the things we can get stuck in as older writers, and I see this a lot with clients, is that a part of us is still trying to please our 8th grade English teacher. So
yes.
we may not be even writing the way that we know we can write or that we want to write. We're still, subconsciously trying to get an A+. And that can hold us back more than we imagine.
Yeah, give me an example of that. Say a little more about that, because I want people to be able to identify if that's what's going on for them.
Yes, maybe those sentences are absolutely perfect. And, these days, people can write in incomplete sentences and come up with, have a fabulous book. If it suits the story or the dialogue. Oh, dialogue. I mean, the dialogue that was taught in schools in the 1960s and 70s, like when I was in school, is not the way people write dialogue now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's important to read current stuff that's out there in the category that you want to write in as well for that reason.
Yeah. And listen deeply. I'm Raymond Chandler. I remember reading when I was in high school, I remember reading some writer's advice he had given. And one was go to a coffee shop and just write down what people say. Learn to tune your ear to the actual speech of human beings. So back in 8th grade, we were writing dialogue that were formal sentences. And I see that too when people will pitch the media. They will write these press releases that we do not have time to read. Nobody has time to read a 3-page press release. So getting to the point, not being flowery or excessive. You don't always have to have a noun verb agreement going on. There's just, what does the story need in order to be told in a way that resonates, makes it alive, makes readers not want to forget your characters? That's the goal.
Yeah, I love that so much. Is there anything else you want to share advice-wise with anyone who may be feeling, notice how we're not identifying age ranges, right? Someone could be in their 30s and feel like, oh, I should have had my first book out when I was 25, like Zadie Smith, right? It's not about age range. It's a mindset and a mentality. So any other advice for anyone out there who feels like I'm too old, it's too late, or I'm only being rejected because I'm too old?
I love that. It is this, it's not your age, it's your attitude. Over and over, when you find yourself saying, oh, they don't want me because of my age, or I can't have success because of my age, call yourself on it. The next thing out of your mouth should be, I don't know why I'm buying into that old ageist stereotype. Let me see what else is true. Say it out loud to whoever you were speaking to. Get your ego and teach it that it's about your attitude. You have everything you need to be a success in this business. You've got a story and you have the desire, you've got opportunities to learn and educate yourself in a community right here. So go for it. That's what I would say.
I love it. Joey, tell everyone where they can learn more about you and your work and how you might be able to help them.
Yes, joeygarcia.com. And I am a book coach and editor. I've worked for Big 5 publishers as an editor, and I have worked with indie authors. I like to edit books, or manuscripts, I should say, as we are building a platform. So I help my writers get known. It's so important. And I love Sue. I think she's amazing.
And I love Joey. Joey, thank you so much for being here and talking about this topic. I think it's super important. We need everybody's voices out there, right? If you've got a solid story, we want to hear it. So don't self-select out before you've even put yourself out there.
100%.
Thank you so much, Joey. Take care.
Bye-bye.